ඔවුන් දැනුවත් කිරීම මාර්ගයෙන් මේ සර්වේ එකට පුළුවන් තරම් වැඩි ප්‍රමාණයක් සම්බන්ධ කරොත් මේකෙන් අපිට ලබා ගන්න පුළුවන් ප්‍රතිඵල එහෙම නැත්නම් රිසල්ට් ගොඩක් දුරට සාර්ථක වෙයි කියලායි අපි බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්නේ. ඉතින් ඒක තමයි සරල ලෙස මේ ව්‍යාපෘතිය හඳුන්වා දෙනවා නම් කියන්න තියෙන්නේ. මං ඊට අමතරව මේ අවස්ථාවේදී කුලදීපන් සුදර්ශනාගෙන් ඉල්ලීමක් කරන්නද මේ මං කිව්ව දේවල් දෙමළ භාෂාවෙනුත් ඉතා කෙටියෙන් සඳහන් කරොත් හොඳයි කියලායි මට හිතෙන්නේ. අපි එහෙම කරමුද? කුලදීපන් යෝධයා. Hello. Sudarshan,
can you hear me, Mr.
You can go ahead, yes.
Okay. எல்லாருக்கும் காலை வணக்கம். Sorry, மாலை வணக்கம். கேக்குதா எல்லாருக்கும் கிளியரா? Hello. Okay.
Yes.
Now,
yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Okay, thank you. நான் இப்போ என்னென்னா மிஸ்டர் கீர்த்தி இவ்வளோ சொன்னதை வந்து நான் உங்களுக்கு தமிழில் சொல்ல போகிறேன். ஆக்சுவலாக என்ன சொன்னாருன்னா இப்போ வந்து இந்த சர்வே வந்து
Sudarshana, we are having a issue.
Sudarshana, your voice is very not clear at all.
Yeah, clear at all. Yeah.
இதுல வந்து FCCISL சேர்ந்து ஒன்றா செய்யற சரியானதுன்னு நாங்க வந்து பார்க்க போறோம். Can you hear me now? Hello, can you hear me now?
Yeah, now it's okay.
Yeah,
but it was not
a little okay, but still you have to speak a little louder, or just go ahead and sing. Yeah.
Okay, I hope you can hear me now.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So நாங்க இந்த சர்வே வந்து செய்யறவங்களுக்கு மிகவும் முக்கியமா இருக்கு.
No, Sudarshana, it's disturbing. I think you have a data issue.
ஒரு இண்டஸ்ட்ரியும் அப்டேட் ஆயிருக்குதுன்றத வந்து எங்களுக்கு பார்க்க வேண்டிய ஒரு குலதீபன், can you
Yes.
Can you explain?
What you drop there? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. அனைவருக்கும் வணக்கம். என்னடா நாங்களுமே அந்த ஒரு டெக்னிக்கல் எரர் ஒன்று எங்களுக்கு ஸ்டார்ட்லேயே வந்துட்டது. என்னடா நாங்கள் முதலே அனுப்பப்பட்ட எங்கிட்ட லிங்க் வந்து இப்போ மாற்றி நாங்கள் திருப்பி செர வேண்டி வந்ததால எங்களுக்கு ஒரு சின்ன ஒரு டிலேயும் மற்ற ஒரு சின்ன ஒரு மிஸ்டேக் நடந்திருக்கு. அதுக்கு நாங்கள் விளையாட்டை மன்னிப்பு கேட்டுக்கொள்றோம். என்னென்னா எங்களுக்கு அந்த இதே வந்து டெக்னாலஜியே வந்து புதுசு ஆக்சுவலாக. ஆனால் எப்படி இருந்தவங்களுக்கு இது வந்து ஒரு லேட்டாக வந்தாலும் நாங்கள் இதை செய்யக்குள்ள ஒரு சின்ன ஒரு ட்ரபிள் நினைக்கிறேன். முல்லைத்தீவு சேம்பர் இப்போ ஜாயிண்ட் ஆகிட்டீங்க நினைக்கிறேன். இதில் இப்போ முல்லைத்தீவு, கிளிநொச்சி, மன்னார், வவுனியா, பெட்டிகுலோ, அம்பாறை சிஇஓ ஐ திங்க் ஹீஸ் ஆல்சோ ஹியர். இப்போ எல்லாரும் நாங்கள் வந்திருக்கிறோம். என்னென்னா இப்போ நாங்கள் இப்போ கீர்த்தி எங்கட சீனியர் வைஸ் பிரசிடென்ட் அவர் வந்து எங்களுக்கு எக்ஸ்பிளைன் பண்ணியிருந்தார் என்ன விஷயம் என்று சொன்னா, இந்த PWCPPயோட சேர்த்து ஃபெடரேஷனோட சேர்த்து நாங்கள் இந்த ப்ரொஜெக்ட் என்ன ஸ்டார்டிங் பாயிண்ட், இந்த ப்ரொஜெக்ட் நாங்கள் என்னதுக்கு செய்கிறோம், இந்த ப்ரொஜெக்ட் என்ன முயற்சி நோக்கம் என்ன, அதே நேரத்தில் இதுக்கு அடுத்ததான் நாங்கள் இந்த ப்ரொஜெக்டால வரப்போற நன்மை என்ன, எங்களோட ஃபெடரேஷன் பார்ட் என்ன, FCCISL பார்ட் என்னன்ற சம்பந்தமாக தான் சொல்லியிருந்தவர். அது நான் உங்களுக்கு சரியான நாங்கள் டைமும் வந்து எங்களுக்கு கொஞ்சம் ரன்னிங்ல இருக்கிற நாங்களுக்கு சரியான ஷோட்டா சொல்லலாம் நினைக்கிறேன். அதுல குறிப்பா வந்து எங்களோட ஃபெடரேஷன் பார்ட் வந்து என்னன்னு சொன்னா, எங்களோட ஃபெடரேஷன் வந்து ஸ்ரீலங்கால இருக்கிற எல்லா சேம்பர்ஸ் லீடிங் பிசினஸ் ஆர்கனைசேஷன் எல்லாத்திலையும் ஒரு அம்ப்ரெல்லா, அதாவது எல்லாத்திலையும் இணைச்சு இப்ப ஒரு லிங்க் ஒன்று ஏற்படையக்குள்ள நாங்கள் அதாவது ஒருத்தருக்கும் தனித்தனியாக நாங்கள் செய்யலாம் இருக்கும். ஆகவே அந்த வகையில நாங்கள் எல்லாரையும் இணைச்சு ஒரே அம்ப்ரெல்லாக்குள்ள ஒரேடியா லிங்க் பண்றதுக்குரிய ஒரு ஆர்கனைசேஷன் தான் எங்களோட ஃபெடரேஷன். இது வந்து ஒரு சிங்கிள் ஒரு தனித்தனியான இண்டிவிஜுவல் மெம்பர்ஷிப் எடுக்கிற ஒரு ஆர்கனைசேஷன் இல்ல. இது வந்து ஒரு ஆர்கனைசேஷன்ஸ் மட்டுமே இதுல நாங்கள் மெம்பர்ஷிப்பை நாங்கள் வழங்கி கொண்டிருக்கிற ஒரு ஆர்கனைசேஷன் தான் ஃபெடரேஷன். அதுல வந்து நாங்கள் ஒவ்வொரு முறையும் வந்து இதுலயே வந்து நாங்கள் இலங்கையில் இருக்கிற எல்லா ஆர்கனைசேஷனும் இல்லாத ஒரு சிறப்புரிமை உரிமைகள் இருக்கு. அப்படின்னு சொன்னா, ஒரு முறையில வந்து ரீஜனல் சேம்பர்ல இருந்து வார ஒரு ஆள் தலைவராக வாரதும், அடுத்த ஒரு 2 அல்லது 3 காலப்பகுதிக்கு பிறகு அடுத்ததான் நேஷனல் பொடியில இருந்து வார ஒரு ஆள் வந்து சேர்மனா வாரதும் வந்து இதுல ஒரு புரோட்டோகால் அந்த ரோதியில நாங்கள் மாற்றமா வந்து கொண்டு இருக்குது. அந்த வகையில எங்களோட ஃபெடரேஷன் ஒரு செயற்பாடு இப்படி இருக்கு. இது நாங்கள் PWC வந்து இந்த ப்ரோக்ராமை நாங்களே கட்டாயம் செய்யணும்ன்றதுக்குரிய விளக்கம் தான் வந்து என்னன்னா, PWC வந்து எங்களுக்கு ஒரு முக்கியமான டேட்டா பேஸ் என்று தான் இது. அப்ப நாங்க எந்த ஒரு விஷயத்தை நாங்க செய்ய போனாலும் எங்களுக்கு ஒரு சரியான ஒரு டேட்டா பேஸ் ஒன்று கையில இருந்தா மட்டும்தான் நாங்க அடுத்த நெக்ஸ்ட் லெவலுக்கு போகலாம். இப்ப எங்க நாடு இருக்கிற நிலைமையில வந்து எல்லா பகுதியிலையும் இது நான் குறிப்பிடல, இது வடகிழக்குல மட்டுமன்று இலங்கையில இருக்கிற எல்லா நாட்டிலையும் இலங்கையில இருக்கிற எல்லா பகுதிகளிலையும் உங்களுக்கு இந்த பிரச்சனை எல்லாருக்கும் ஒரே அளவுல இருக்குது. அது ஒவ்வொருத்தருக்கும் ஒரு செக்டர் வைஸா போயக்குள்ள ஒரு வித்தியாசமான முறையில திரிவுபட்டு போகுது. அப்ப அந்த எல்லாருக்கும் இருக்கிற பிரச்சனை நாங்க ஒரே நேரத்தில் சோர்ட் அவுட் பண்றோம்டா எங்க கையில ஒரு டேட்டா பேஸ் ஒன்று வேணும். அப்ப அந்த டேட்டா பேஸ் நாங்கள் எப்படி நாங்கள் யூட்டிலைஸ் பண்ண போறோம்ன்றதுக்கு அதுக்கு முதல் நாங்க ஒரு முக்கியமான ப்ரோக்ராம் தான் இந்த தரவுகள். அப்ப இதுல இன்றைக்கு நீங்க இணைஞ்சிருக்கிறார்கள் வந்து சில தரவுகளை நீங்க உங்களோட செக்டர் வைஸாவும் உங்களோட சம்பந்தமா நீங்க உங்களோட தரவுகளை நீங்க தர்றதன் மூலமா நாங்கள் அதுகளை நாங்கள் இதில் இணைச்சு நாங்கள் செய்யக்குள்ள எதிர்வரும் காலங்களில் செய்ய வேண்டிய வேலை திட்டங்களை வந்து நாங்கள் இதில் அட் பண்ணக்கூடிய மாதிரி இருக்கும். அப்ப இதுல வந்து நாங்கள் இப்ப சோட்டா நாங்கள் இப்ப முதலாவது என்றபடியே நாங்கள் இதை சோட்டா உங்களுக்கு உள்ளத்தையும் சொல்லி இருக்கிறேன். அடுத்த கட்டமா நாங்கள் எங்களோட கீர்த்தி I think I done little bit shorter. So if in the next level we will elaborate something, right? What you said I summarized and I will tell what you are telling, right?
Okay. Now Pradeepan, the Prasanga Besuriya, who the representative of the PWC, who is in charge of this project, also here with us. So we'll let him speak and explain about the project. Lasanga, since
yes,
you're not there, I briefly outlined the project. So you can briefly explain, little more details, how they should, participate in the survey.
Sure. Okay. Shall I start then?
Yeah, you can go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So good evening to everyone. And first of all, I apologize for the technical issue and getting late to get connected. So I think in interest of time, I will try to go through very quickly, maybe in about 20-25 minutes, 5 key areas that I thought that will be useful to touch on today as we launch this study. So the first is I'll briefly explain, I think you might have already heard, what was the purpose and the thinking behind launching this study. And then I'll quickly tell you a little bit about the study and how to access the study. Since now we have launched the study, how you can participate in the study. And then I will explain what the content and the coverage of the study is, just to briefly run through what are the areas we are looking at for input from all the respondents. And lastly, I'll cover around how we have launched the survey to date, and I guess in the next coming days, how we will, some of the things that we will be looking forward to doing to sort of create awareness about the study. And also finally, once we finish the study, what all the companies or all the respondents can look forward to in terms of what is the output and outcome to look forward to in the coming weeks and months. So to quickly start on the purpose, I think basically the study's aim is to set the foundation to plan a series of events going forward, which FCCISL will take the sort of the leading role to help in the growth and recovery of the Sri Lankan economy. So in this, I think there are 5 key areas we are looking at. One is that with the input, with the sort of the insight we get from this study, we hope to get a better understanding of the aspirations and the ambitions of the local businesses, so that we can look at suitable business growth, business acceleration programs that can be devised going forward. Then secondly, the idea is that we will be able to develop a very data-backed, comprehensive list of maybe a list of recommendations and proposals to take to the various stakeholders to address the business challenge, marketplace challenges, and policy-related issues that need to be addressed at government level, at local government or national level. Then thirdly, one of the key areas we want to look at from this is to see how we can help businesses to identify new business opportunities, and to also look at how like the companies can collaborate among themselves to look at new ways of doing business or new opportunities that they can help each other and sort of grow together. Then the fourth point is that we want to look at what are some of the issues and findings we identify in terms of developing capacity within like industries and individual businesses or wider industries, and also to look at what needs to be done to improve the competitiveness of the industries. This is also from a local point of view, but also when companies are looking at developing export market and export growth, what are the things that need to be done to improve the competitiveness of the local the services or local products that are being exported. And lastly, the other objective is to look at how we can identify areas where we can seek financial or technical assistance, be it from international donor agencies, multilateral support organizations, even local government, to address the financial needs and technical capacity development areas. So those are the main objectives. Those are the main objectives of launch. Studies or the insights and input from address these areas that I just highlighted. In terms of about the study and then how to access the study, so I think you might that have already. This is going to be an entirely web-based study, so it's an online survey that we will do, and it will be available in all 3 languages. Unfortunately,
you can, if you want,
because of the technical issue, I'm trying to show the screenshot. Basically, you can the survey can be accessed through multiple avenues that I will just briefly touch on later, but and it's available. Once you access it, you can select the language of your preference, Sinhala, Tamil or English, and then continue with the survey.
While you're talking, shall I try to share screen and find that one?
If you can, because I can't.
Yeah, okay. You can continue speaking. Yeah.
Sure. Okay. So the survey is open for all businesses, all registered businesses, whether it's the micro, small, medium, or large industries, companies, and also whether it's in whatever sector, and also whether you're a recent startup or you're a mature business in a multi-generational company. It doesn't matter. I think that it's open for anybody. In fact, even if you're not a registered company, you have the option to take part in the survey and still identify yourself as that. And I think we'll welcome input from such companies, such businesses as well. And then the study approach is essentially, this is not a quantitative or sample-based study. We are basically doing a qualitative study. So a lot of the questions you see in the survey will also be a bit more descriptive to sort of get responses rather than looking at pure numerical or like asking for numbers and a lot of sensitive information about companies' revenues and assets and anything like that. So it's more qualitative to understand what companies have been doing, what they intend to do, and what are their challenges, and questions like that. And which I'll run through that when we come to that section. So It's a qualitative studies.
Lasanga, can you see the screen now?
I can see your screen, but I think it's your email, not
No, not this one. Wait a minute. I'll try to share. Okay, you can go ahead. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the study is also designed in a way that we are asking some questions about where you are located and the industries you represent and your sort of the scale and your operating scale and all that, because we want to be able to get the insights when we sort of produce the reports and also make recommendations where we can give it at a national level, but also be able to give insights and recommendations, proposals at a industry level, and then also based on whether you're in the what are the issues or what are the requirements for companies in the micro or small, medium, or large sectors, or even where we can give information like the insights on based on geographical regions, so based on provinces, if there are specific things that we find out that are more relevant for companies in a certain part of the country versus the rest of the country, we should be able to identify that as well. So in terms of how you can access the survey, so I think Katie, if you just leave this slide on.
Now can you see now?
Yeah, if you just go back to the earlier slide just for a second, what you had, the flyer.
Right, okay. Wait a minute.
So I think in terms of how you can access the survey,
yeah, the flyer.
One is this. I think this is the flyer that the FCCISL has circulated amongst all the participants today, and I think this is what we will be using going forward, also to even in our media publications to create awareness. So at the bottom you see how you can access the survey. So there is
the link. I will click this.
Yeah. So if you get that document, there is a link on that at the bottom which you can directly click and access the survey. For people who have the QR scanners on their computer, you can even scan that QR code there and directly access the survey. And also there will be a link to access this survey on the FCCISL website as well. There'll be a banner on the side. And I think at the moment we are still talking to some of the media sponsors, but once that is finalized, it will be, I think I think Ruan can probably add to this a bit later, but I think most probably some of the Lake House publications, I think they will support us on this initiative, and the link will be carried on their website as well.
But here, Lasanga, you can say, can you see the English, Sinhala, all these mediums? Can you see this?
Yeah, we can see it. Yeah,
we can see it on the screen. Yeah.
Yeah, you can. If you want English,
yeah, I can see
already
that. So
ready.
I think
if you want in Tamil, so you can change to Tamil.
Raise the hand. Thereafter, we will do that. Huh?
Yeah.
Otherwise, we will go ahead. Yeah.
Yes, you can do it. Then after that you can click according to the
Industry
question. So we can we explain one or two Lasanga here?
Sure, can do.
Yeah.
So I
But
think
in your primary business activity involved in.
Yeah. So I think first of all, the survey starts with asking about what is the business you are in. So as you see on the screen, it starts by what is your primary industry you're involved in, and there you need to select only like one sector what is your predominantly sector that you're involved in.
So we will select manufacturing here and go down.
Yeah. So then if you are a company that has maybe more than one area of focus, there's optional question after that where you can select other sectors that you're involved in as well. And the classification that we have put there is consistent with the sort of international industry classification, which is also used by Central Bank, the Department of Census, and a lot of other agencies as well. So to be consistent with other national studies and other data that's there, we use that same form, same classification. And so when you select whether the primary or your sort of additional industries you're involved in, there's a couple of additional questions we ask about. So if you select manufacturing, for example, it's still a very broad classification. So there are additional questions we ask about what type of manufacturing, whether it's apparel manufacturing or rubber-based, so forth. So there's some additional questions we ask. So basically, there are 9 questions in the first section, which I think should take about 5 minutes because some of them are very straightforward. And it also then asks about questions relating to the type of business activity. So whether if you're in industrial manufacturing, for example, are you doing finished goods, or are you into producing intermediary goods, which becomes a raw material for another company, or we ask whether you're in the service industry or whether you're in retail or wholesale trade related activities. And then we also want to understand about the scale of, in terms of your operations, whether your sales are.
Lasanga, can I suggest you something? Can you?
Your business is sure.
Can we give a small opportunity for Kuladeepan to explain a little bit in Tamil, because since we are on the survey now. So let me explain a bit, then after that you can continue from there. So I will just put the Tamil one on
and
go ahead. Let him explain.
Yes, Mr. SVP. என்னடா நாங்கள் இதுல இன்னொரு கிளாரிபிகேஷன் ஒன்றை தான் நான் இப்ப சொல்ல விரும்புறேன். என்னண்டா எங்கட இப்ப மன்னார்ல இருந்து முல்லைத்தீவு சைட்ல இருந்து ஒரு சின்ன ஒரு டெக்ஸ்ட் ஒன்று வந்திருக்கு. என்னன்னு சொன்னா, இப்ப பைனான்சியல் வைஸாவும் சில வேற பார்சலா ப்ராப்ளம்ஸ் இருக்கிறதா மென்ஷன் பண்ணி இருக்கிறீங்க. என்னென்றாலும் நாங்க இப்ப இது நாங்க உடனடியாக நாங்க செய்த விஷயம் நான் ஏற்கனவே சொன்ன மாதிரி, இது நாங்க இப்ப ஒரு சர்வே ஒன்று தான் செய்யறோம். முதலாவது என்னன்னா, எந்த ஒரு ப்ராப்ளத்தை சால்வ் பண்றதுக்கு முதல்ல ஒரு சர்வே செய்து ஒரு டேட்டா பேஸ் உங்க கையில வேணும். அப்ப அதுக்குரிய முதலாவது கட்டமா தான் நாங்கள் இப்ப இந்த டேட்டா பேஸ் தான் நாங்க செய்யறதுக்குரிய நடவடிக்கை செய்யறோம். நாங்க சொல்லல, நீங்க சொன்ன விஷயத்த செய்யலான்ற விஷயத்தான் சொல்லல. ஆனா இப்ப இனிஷியலா நாங்கள் எடுத்துக்கொண்ட விஷயம் என்னன்னு சொன்னா, நாங்க இந்த டேட்டா பேஸை கலெக்ட் பண்றது மூலமா நாங்க இதை கவர்மெண்ட்டுக்கோ அல்லது ஐஎன்ஜிஓக்கோ கொண்டு போய் நாங்கள் இதை எப்படி சால்வ் பண்றதுக்குரிய அடுத்த ஸ்டெப்புக்கு தான் நாங்க அதை போகலாம். இப்ப எங்களுக்கு உடனடியாக எங்களுக்கு தேவையான இருக்கிற விஷயம் தான் என்னன்னு சொன்னா, நாங்கள் இந்த டேட்டா பேஸை எப்படி கலெக்ட் பண்றது, இந்த டேட்டா பேஸை எப்படி நாங்கள் சமரி பண்ணி எப்படி நாங்கள் இது பயன்படுத்தக்கூடிய மாதிரி அந்த லிங்குக்குள்ள நாங்க எப்படி எடுக்கிறது அது சம்பந்தமா தான் நாங்க முதலாவதா நாங்கள் உடனடியாக நாங்க பாக்குறோம். ஆகவே நாங்கள் அதை எதிர்பார்க்கிறோம். இப்ப நீங்க போட்ட விஷயம் ஓகே, நாங்க அப்ரிசியேட் பண்றோம். அதே நேரம் இதை நாங்கள் அடுத்த லெவல்ல நாங்க திருப்பி அடுத்த எங்கட வெப்னஸ் இருக்கு, அதுல நாங்கள் இதை டிஸ்கஸ் பண்ணலாம். முதல்ல நாங்கள் எங்களோட ப்ராப்ளம்ஸை நாங்கள் டேட்டா இதுக்குள்ள நாங்கள் டேட்டாவை நாங்கள் எடுத்துட்டு நாங்கள் அடுத்த கட்டத்துல நாங்கள் அதை பார்ப்போம். ஆகவே நாங்கள் அதை கண்டினியூ பண்றதுக்கு எங்களுக்கு டைமும் ஒரு ஷார்ட் டைம் இருக்கிறதால நாங்கள் அதை கண்டினியூ பண்றதுக்காக நான் அதை ஷார்ட் அவுட் பண்றேன். Yes, Mr. Kirti, then I think I explained them. This is the database.
This is the Tamil version of the questionnaire. So, I mean, these are
we will circulate it. We will circulate
you
it
can keep answering,
Yes, at the same time, I mentioned them. This is a good platform for collecting the data in the whole of the country, entire country. So correct. Then only we can. After that, I said once we can't do something in solving the issues. So first we'll collect the data and all. Thereafter, we will do something in future.
Correct.
So so we will continue this time frame. Sure. So we will continue it.
Yeah, Lasanga, you can go ahead.
Yeah, I think Mr. Kuladeepan, if you can just explain, I think in case if anybody needs clarification, I think I mentioned five main objectives of this study. The one is to collect the foundation, like the database of where companies are and what's the current status. But I think a couple of other key areas are, one is we want to identify potential business opportunities and business development opportunities so that we can help companies help each other depending on the things that we find out from this study, where there can be collaboration between companies. And another key area is to sort of look at like future capacity building and areas where we can help companies in their capacity building and developing competitiveness in their businesses. Based on the findings from this, we can plan future programs to address those some of those challenges. So I think those are some of the things that I think by participating companies can benefit from.
I already informed them, but I
Oh,
have
okay,
informed
sorry.
that Tamil version is there, so we will circulate them. It's easy. Otherwise, we will take
sure.
long time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
please.
Okay, sure.
Right. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
the first part. So the first part is basically to get information about the business and understand what industry and what kind of activity the companies are involved in. And here, because I mean, we want to standardize, because it's a large survey and we want to have certain standardized responses. As you would see, a lot in most of the questions, you just have to select between certain prompted responses. But in case some of the issues or some of the things that companies want to talk about are not in those prompted responses, there is space and there are some questions in between, where companies can give those additional comments, which may not be addressed in those prompted responses. So that's something that I think everyone should take that opportunity to put in additional information that will be useful for the insights we want to get out of the study. So the second section is then about the company. So there we have 12 questions. Again, I think it will be about 6 minutes, 5 to 6 minutes time to fill that area. It's mostly we're looking at, so we ask questions about where is the company's head office located, and so that's in terms of what is the extent of its operation. So if it's if it's a manufacturing company which has plants or facilities in multiple locations, where are they? Or if you're in a sales related industry, do you have branches in multiple locations outside of one province? So we want to understand how extensive is the operation, the company's operation. Then we also, there are questions around asking how long the company has been in operation. That is, like I said at the beginning, to understand whether you're a recent startup or whether you're fairly mature in the business, because again, some of the issues and findings we will probably get may differ between the startup companies and relatively young companies might have different issues to mature companies. So we want to be able to identify and separate those issues, and so that when we look at what needs to be done and what companies to address with particular actions in the future, and that will help to sort of get deep understanding of whether the issues are more for startup company and their issues, or whether it's general for all companies and so forth. And then there are some details in this section. We ask about what is the order of in what range is the company's annual turnover, and then ask also about the number of permanent employees employed by the company. Again, we are not in these sections. We are not asking for very specific information that companies should feel nervous about disclosing. I think there are other surveys that are out there which actually ask for more specific numbers in rupee terms, based on audited numbers and all. I think we are not really interested in that, but what we want to understand is broadly, I think if you see one of the questions, question 14, we talk about in the range of like, are you between 0 to 15 million annual turnover, or are you between 16 to 250 million? And this, the turnover brackets are actually given with a reason, because this is the same the classification that's used by the central banks and all that when they classify micro companies companies in the micro segment or in the small or medium sector. Employer to identify what scale of operation you are, but also to say that things like employment numbers are useful to, I guess, when we look at recommendations and sort of proposals, and especially when you take to certain stakeholders, sometimes they're interested in understanding how many people's employment is affected by some of these challenges, or which of these businesses have more women in employment, and where it can be beneficial for promoting women to join or increase women in participation in some of these industries. So for those kind of things, and to address some of those key points that some stakeholders, whether it's local government or some of the international donor agencies, sort of appeal to their areas of interest. So we've asked questions around the number of employees and the percentage of women and number of youth employed by companies as well. So it's important that, I guess, companies share that information, because that, again, it's there for a reason, because we know that there are certain government agencies or certain donor agencies and certain stakeholders who have specific interest to promote businesses that encourage youth or women employment. So that's why we have some of those questions in there. And then, so after that, then we have the third section, which actually then goes into looking at some of the where we start looking at identifying some of the issues and the COVID related, like the challenges that companies have experienced to date. So there are, in the third section, we have 6 questions, which start off by looking at, so one of the things we want to understand from this study is, what are companies, sorry, before I go into this, do we want to just do go through the earlier section and maybe just do a translation?
No need, Lasanga. I think, now it's quite clear because the questions are there. So what you explain is, what are the important ones and why it has to be answered. You're explaining, that's fair enough, I think.
Okay, fine. So so the third question is that going into understand, like looking at getting some deeper insights into the companies and their challenges and what their plans are for their businesses. So we start off with actually wanting to understand before COVID, so say late 2019 or early 20, before sort of the lockdowns and sort of some of the developments, say around March, started taking place. What did companies plan for at the beginning of the year for 2020 or even longer? What were their plans and goals? Were they looking at growing into diversifying? Were they looking at expanding their market reach, either nationally or going into overseas markets? Were they looking at restructuring their business? Were they looking at bringing in technology or improving their workforce skills? So there's a range of things that we have listed out that based on, so for companies to look at, sort of read through that and sort of select what are some of those what were some of those priorities that the companies had before the current pandemic, because that sets up again, the reason we're asking for this is that the study, we want to do it in a way that ultimately the recommendations and the findings should help companies to sort of get back on course with what they want to do and what their plans are. So it's not necessarily just to look at from a historical point of view what has happened and what are the challenges, but really to see how we can help companies to get back on track on what they want to do and what are their priorities for their business. So that's why we are looking at identifying initially, what did the companies want to do before the challenges. Some of them could have been temporary, some of them may be more permanent in nature, the challenges that companies face after the COVID pandemic. So then we, after we sort of asked that initial question, we will be looking at how companies were impacted by the COVID pandemic, and what have the companies done to date to sort of manage the challenging circumstances around the COVID pandemic. So again, there are a range of options that we have listed out to select, and I think we want to see which, and there's a range of in terms of this, the extent of whether the impact, whether they were high impact areas that companies, if a particular point was relevant, whether it was whether it impacted the company in a very significant way or in a moderate way, or in a very low way, in a moderate way. I think we want to sort of understand the degree of impact those those areas that we have listed out, how they've impacted the business. And again, if there's anything that has not been listed here but that's still relevant for a particular company, at the end there's space for companies again write additional information to help us understand and get more specific input, insight into what the companies faced and how they managed to manage.
Lanka, I think it's not clear.
Yeah, no, you're not clear now. Lasanga, shall we give them an opportunity now, because it's now it is all about the questionnaire and the importance of certain areas you are explaining.
Yes.
For them to come back and ask any questions or doubts if they have or not clear some points which you have already mentioned. Shall we ask them? Because
yeah, that's fine. I think
lost a lot of time due to this connection issue. So we should not take too long, also maybe about 10-15 minutes more if we take, and if we try to finish off. So shall we ask the participants what kind of things they would like to clarify?
Yeah, I think that's fine, because I think the questions are there, and I think we will probably, if there are questions, and I think if somebody can collate any issues that come up, we can definitely perhaps do some future communication.
Like I suggest, if anyone has a question, you can use the raise hand option, or either if you raise hand also, I will identify with your video on, and I will allow you to speak. Mahendra, already you something, yes, go ahead.
Yeah, Lasanka, and I just want to find out, in the micro industries, where how did you all do the survey? Are they participating in the survey? Because now in Matali area, we identify the micro people have, they don't have the access to participate in the survey. So I don't know whether anybody has participated. I just want to find out, because in our area, I think maybe it's minus. Nobody has participated. We were trying to convince them.
On that, so I think at the moment, so we only, I think, launched this today, so it's too early to say. I think there were about five parties, about five who had responded just today. But I think this was something that came up in a previous session also, and some concerns about the micro companies and whether they will have access to the survey.
Yeah, I think Tusita brought it up, I think.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. So again, I think there was one party who sort of mentioned that they could collate some of the responses and help those micro industries to submit their responses. I think that is one of, unfortunately, this the way we've designed it, that it is purely online survey. There's no on the ground people who we can go and interview. So I think one thing is, if in your region, whether
that's what we want to do. Yeah, that's what Matale Chamber, we want to do that same thing, because we want to get the cross section of people. we want
Yeah.
to go and get themselves participated and then forward it to you.
Yeah, but I think
Mahendra, there's another way that you can help.
Yeah.
I mean, giving them some kind of accessibility
Yeah.
to a computer, call them to your office or something
Office,
like
yeah.
that, and get them to filling. Also,
Yeah.
sometimes the first-hand information that we will get it. So
Yeah.
that will be very good, and you can even motivate
We'll do it.
some of your big business people.
Yeah.
Also to support some of the micro guys to come to their offices and
Support
submit
them.
this form. Yes.
Yeah, we'll do that. Yeah, we will consider that. Okay, thank you
Yeah.
very much.
Okay.
sorry,
Yeah.
just to understand on that, the issue is with they don't have. I mean, even through a mobile, they will not have access. So is it?
Yeah, I think rural areas they don't have the smartphones or something. So we have to take it to them, or we have to call them to our office and get it done.
Yes.
Okay.
I think that's
Only thing with getting it done, I think as much as possible, try to get individual responses, because if you collate everything and submit as one response from a group of companies, while we get certain insight, it will distort some of the things in terms of we won't know how many companies have that same issue, because some of these things, the importance
we will do individually. We will submit.
Individually, yes.
Yeah, that's good.
Any other questions? Sandhya, do you have anything?
Yes, මට දැනගන්න පුළුවන්ද මේ දැන් ඩේටාබේස් එක කලෙක්ට් කරාට පස්සේ දැන් ඔබතුමාලගේ අවශ්‍යතාවය අනුව ඒක ප්‍රයෝජනෙට ගත්තට පස්සේ අපිට චේම්බර් දැන් ඩිස්ට්‍රික්ට් වයිස් තියෙන චේම්බර්ස් වලටත් ඒක පාවිච්චි කරන්න අවස්ථාවක් දෙන්න ඒක අපිට දෙන්න පුළුවන්ද කියලා?
පුළුවන්. ඇත්තටම කියනවා නම් ඒක මුල් අවස්ථාවේ PWC එක යෝජනා කරේ FCCISL එකට විතරක් පාවිච්චි කරන්න කියලා. මමයි කිව්වේ ඇත්තටම අපි සම්බන්ධ කරගන්නවා නම් මේ regional chambers, national chambers ඒගොල්ලෝගේ අවශ්‍යතාවයන් මත ඒගොල්ලන්ටත් මේ data අවශ්‍ය වෙනවා. ඇත්තටම කියනවා නම් data කියන්නේ හැම දෙනාටම අවශ්‍ය දේ. ඉතින් ඒක පාවිච්චි කිරීමේ අවස්ථාව තියෙනවා. අපේට සාර්ථකව මේක කරන්න පුළුවන් වුණොත් සන්ධ්‍යා දැන් ඔබතුමිය හොටෙල් ඉන්ඩස්ට්‍රි එකේ ඉන්නේ. දැන් හොටෙල් ඉන්ඩස්ට්‍රි එකේ එදා හිටියා ජව්ෆේමත් හිටියා අපේ කලින් මීටින් එකේ. දැන් ඔහු කිව්ව ලොකු ගැටලු ගණනාවක්. දැන් ඇත්තටම කියනවා නම් ඒ සම්බන්ධයෙන් ගැටලු පිළිබඳව අපි එක එක්කෙනා කියන කීප දෙනෙක්ගේ දැනුම අපිට තිබුණාට මුළු සමස්තයක් විදිහට මුළු ඉන්ඩස්ට්‍රි එකේ දැනුමක් අපේ ගාව නැහැ. ඉතින් ඕක තමයි ඇත්තටම ඔබතුමියලා කරන්න ඕනේ ලොකුම කාර්යය මේ පුළුවන් හැම දෙනෙක්ටම සහභාගී වෙන්න කියලා උන් සහභාගී කරවීම තමයි මෙතන අවශ්‍ය. නමුත් ස්ථිර වශයෙන්ම අපිට පුළුවන් ඒ ඉන්ෆර්මේෂන් ඕගොල්ලත් එක්ක රීජනල් චේම්බර්ස් එක්ක ෂෙයා කරගන්න පුළුවන්. ඒකේ ගැටලුවක් නැහැ.
හරි, thank you.
Okay, welcome.
Mr. Gunawardena.
Yeah.
මමත් කැමති අර සන්ධ්‍යා වගේකට පොඩ්ඩක් එකතු කරන්න. මහෙන්ද්‍ර කිව්වා වගේ ගොඩක් වෙලාවට වෙන්නේ මේ චේම්බර්ස් වලට තමයි මේ ඉන්ෆර්මේෂන් එකතු කරලා දෙන්න වෙන්නේ. ගොඩක් රිමෝට් ඒරියාස් වල මේ ඔන්ලයින් ඇවිල්ලා ෆිල් කරන එක අඩුයි. එතකොට එහෙම දානකොට අපි කලිනුත් එකක් කරා සමහරවිට අපේ ස්ටාෆ් දාලා 1 by 1 එක එක්කෙනා කෝල් කරලා ඉන්ෆර්මේෂන් අරගෙන තමයි දාන්න වෙන්නේ. චේම්බර්ස් වලට මේක යූස් කරන්න පුළුවන් කියලා කිව්වට කොහොමද අපිට අඩු ගානේ චේම්බර්ස් වලට හරි ඉන්ෆර්මේෂන් දෙන කෙනාට හරි මේ ඉන්ෆර්මේෂන් වල කොපි එකක් ලැබෙන්නේ
නෑ මෙහෙමයි නේ
සබ්මිට් කරපු ගමන් ඒක ඊට පස්සේ අපහු ගන්න බෑ නේද
නෑ දැන් ඔන්ලයින් සබ්මිට් කරාම දැන් ඒ data ටික අපි process කරන්න ඕනේ ලසංග can you explain that because what happens is දැන් අපි කියමුකෝ දැන් මේ මුළු කරපු රිසර්ච් එකේම data සමහරක් වෙලාවට එක ක්ෂේත්‍රයකට අදාළව අවශ්‍ය වෙන්නේ නැහැ. අනිත් එක එහෙම දුන්නත් ඒකෙන් වැඩක් වෙන එක්කුත් නැහැ මං හිතන විදිහට සමහරක් වෙලාවට. දැන් අපි උදාහරණයක් වශයෙන් සන්ධ්‍යාගේ ප්‍රශ්නේ ගත්තොත් එහෙම එයා ඉන්නේ මේ ටුවරිසම් ඉන්ඩස්ට්‍රි එකේ. ඒ ටුවරිසම් ඉන්ඩස්ට්‍රි එකට අදාළ ප්‍රශ්නය ඒගොල්ලන්ට ඒකේ තියෙන data කී දෙනෙක් එෆෙක්ට් වෙලා තියෙනවද මොකක්ද ඒකේ තත්ත්වය පිළිබඳව අවබෝධයක් ලබා ගන්න පුළුවන් නම් මම හිතනවා උන්ට මොකක් හරි ඒ චේම්බර් එක මාර්ගයෙන් යෝජනාවක් ඉදිරිපත් කරන්න හෝ නැත්නම් වෙනත් ඉල්ලීමක් කරන්න ඕන දෙයකට ඒ data පාවිච්චි කරන්න පුළුවන් කියන එකයි මගේ හැඟීම. ලසංග can you also share your thoughts here?
Kirti, what he was asking is actually ආන්නේ මේ ඒගොල්ලන් දෙන data එක ඒගොල්ලන්ට copy එකක් ගන්න පුළුවන්ද කියලා.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
Once we fill the form and submit it, we don't have a copy.
ඒක තමයි යාට copy එකක් නැහැ නේ. ඒ copy එකක් ගන්න පුළුවන්ද කියලා තමයි යන්නේ.
So we need not the entire data. Just ask whether only from the what we said.
Okay. Lasanga, how do we handle that? Lasanga.
I mean, data, yeah, I'm thinking data දෙනේව ඔක්කොම අපි එකට සාමාන්‍යයෙන් ඔක්කොම ඇග්‍රිගේට් කරලා තමයි යන. Hello.
Okay, ටිකක් voice එක ටිකක් හොඳ නැති වුණා ලසංග. ටිකක් break වෙලා ඇහෙන්නේ. Not clear.
දැන් යනවා.
ටිකක් හොඳයි කියන්න බලන්න.
සාමාන්‍යයෙන් ඔය දත්ත ඔක්කොම ඒක දෙන්න පුළුවන් විදිහක් තියෙන්න ඕනේ මේ ඒක මම පොඩ්ඩක් බලන්නම්. හැබැයි මොකද සාමාන්‍යයෙන් අපි දත්ත එක්කව කරාම ඒව ඔක්කොම එකට ඇග්‍රිගේට් කරලා තමයි බලන්නේ. මොකද අර සාමාන්‍යයෙන් එක කම්පැනි අනන්‍යතාවය රැකගන්න මේ ඒකින්ද අර මේ සාමාන්‍යයෙන් එහෙම data වෙනම අපි බලන්නේ ඔක්කොම එක central database එක තමයි anonymous විදිහට සාමාන්‍යයෙන් යන්නේ. මම පොඩ්ඩක් බලන්න ඕනේ ඒක දැන් ඔය ප්‍රදේශයෙන් data එහෙම enter කරොත් ඒව වෙනම එහෙම අපිට මේ කවුද දුන්නේ කියලා බලලා ගන්න විදියක් තියෙන්න ඕනේ. එහෙනම් පොඩ්ඩක් ඒක බලලා කියන්න. හැබැයි definitely අර report දැන් අපි කීර්ති කිව්වා ප්‍රාදේශයෙන් හරි එක ව්‍යාපාර ඒව report කරන ඒවට අදාළ වෙන data අපිට කොට ඒක supporting data ඒව එක්කම ලබා දෙන්න පුළුවන්. අර අර වෙනම දැන් කවුරු හරි වෙනම එක්කව කරලා දෙන data ඒව ආයි එහෙම දෙන්න විදිහක් තියෙන පුළුවන්. මම ඒක මම අපි ඉදිරියට බලාගෙන යනවා. හැබැයි එහෙම අවශ්‍යතාවයක් තියෙනවා නම් ඒක දෙන්න පුළුවන්.
Can we put in maybe dialog box for the mention the particular chamber? So then you can select which chamber submit the data.
Okay.
Is it possible? මම කියන්නේ මේකේ question එකේ දාන්න පුළුවන් නම් chamber එකේ නම. එතකොට
අපිට ඇත්තටම කියනවා නම් අපිට කොයි region එකේද කියන එක තියෙනවනේ. එකෙන් අපිට බලා ගන්න පුළුවන් කොයි පැත්තෙන්ද එන්න කියන එක.
Oh right. කොහමරි එතකොට
එයාගේ business address එක ගත්තාම
area එක
කොයි chamber එකට අදාළ
ඊට වඩා sorry ඒකම පුළුවන් නම් මේක ඔක්කොම දැන් ගුණවර්ධන කලින් පටන් කියනකොට කිව්වාගේ chambers තුනක් කරන්නේ.
ඔව්.
එයා IT මොන chamber එකටද නැත්නම් එතකොට එයා සමහරවිට member වෙන්න පුළුවන් non member වෙන්න පුළුවන්. නමුත් chamber එකක් through submit කරනවා නම් ඒතර ඒක chamber එකේ recognition එක එනවා කොච්චර මොන chamber එකකින් කොච්චර එව්වද කියලා.
ඕනේ දැන් ඇත්තටම කියනවා නම් අපි දැන් දෙවැනි අවස්ථාවේ අපි කරන්න යන්නේ මේ සර්වේ එක අපි අද කතා කරේ බැංකු ඔක්කොටම යවන්න. එතකොට බැංකු වල ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ database වල ඉන්න customers වලට යවන්න කියලා. එතකොට ඔයා කියන එක හරි සාධාරණයි. මොකද හේතුව එතකොට අපිට non member ලගේ data එනවා මේකට. මොකද අපිට මේක සාර්ථක කරගන්න නම් අවශ්‍ය වෙන්නේ වැඩිපුර business ගාණක් මේ survey එක ඇතුලේ ඉන්න ඕන එකයි අපේ මේ අපිට අවශ්‍ය දේ. එතකොට මට තේරෙනවා ඔබතුමා කියන්නේ දැන් ඒ හිටපු සංඛ්‍යාවෙන් කොච්චරක් මේ ගාල්ල චේම්බර් එකේද නැත්නම් මාතර චේම්බර් එකේද නැත්නම් හම්බන්තොට චේම්බර් එකේද කියන එක දැනගන්නයි මෙතන අවශ්‍යතාවය නේ.
ඔව් ඒකක් දැම්මා නම් එතකොට ඔටෝමැටිකලි මෙනවා චේම්බර් මෙම්බර්ස්ලා කොච්චර ඉන්නවද non membersලා කොච්චර ඉන්නවද කියන එක.
Lasanga, can we include that?
So ඒක අපිට මේ අර අන්තිම section එකේ respondent ගේ details දාන එක question එක add කරන්න අද මම add කරලා දාන්නම්. එතකොට ඒකෙන් අහන්න පුළුවන් මොන chamber එකක් සම්බන්ධ වෙනවා නම් මොන chamber එකද
මොන chamber එකේද member කියලා.
ඔව්
chamber then mention the chamber name.
Mention the chamber name. Fine. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Any other suggestions? Any other proposals? Any other comments?
Hello?
Yeah.
அட முல்லைத்தீவு சேம்பர்ல இருந்து பேசுறேன்.
ஏன்டா
நீங்க கலெக்ட் பண்ண தகவல் எல்லாம் எங்களுக்கு எப்ப தருவீங்க? எங்களுக்கு கிடைக்கக்கூடிய மாதிரி நீங்க தருவீங்களா? எப்ப உங்களோட நீங்க கலெக்ட் பண்ற இந்த டேட்டாஸ்ல எங்களுக்கு பிரயோசனப்படுத்தக்கூடிய மாதிரி தருவீங்களா?
Kuladeepan, can you
Kirti is asking whether when will be the data ready for them to get it for their use.
We are trying to finish the
he asking, he's from Mullatiu Chamber. He's asking that same that Sandhya, what Sandhya asked, that same question he asking. So that all the data, when you have after finalizing the data, how can they get this data and all the things he's asking. That same question he's asking. I will personally I will answer. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Now actually we are trying to do this as fast as possible, and Lasanga and that the deadline we have put it as the 9th August. So Lasanga, I also have a question really. We do not get enough responses by 9th August, are we going to extend or are we going to close on that particular day?
No, I think we'll leave some flexibility because in the day we want the quantity also.
Correct.
But obviously we don't want to say it's all going to be open, but then people will take it too easily and just rush to. We'll leave 1 week, maybe 1 week more to extend it.
Yes.
And so that at least by early September we'll have then the reports and the findings where we can start reporting.
Yeah. So I think it's clear. මේ කුලදීපන ඒ කියන්නේ මේ අපිට පුළුවන් වෙයි දැන් අපි හිතුවොත් එහෙම 9 වෙනිදා බැරි වෙලා අපි තව සතියක් කල් දැම්මත් සුමාන දෙකක් විතර ඇතුළත data ටික process කරලා ලසංගලට ඒ ටික process කරනකොට data ඊළඟ මාසේ කියන්නේ සැප්තැම්බර් මාසෙ වෙද්දි වගේ ලබා ගන්න පුළුවන් වෙයි කියන එක තමයි අදහස. Is that okay? Kuladeepan or the Mullatiu Chamber, the gentleman who you can unmute yourself if you want to speak.
Yeah, Kirti, he said Kuladeepan said he will explain to him personally.
Okay, fine. Okay, yeah. Anybody else wants to raise any questions? I think according to the original timing, we are just 2 minutes away. But if I think, if everyone agree, we can go for about another 10 minutes more or something like that, because finally your questions will give you more idea of, how to participate in this survey. That's what
Mr. Asanga, this particular survey, are you going to analyze on national basis, or is there a possibility to analyze this even regional basis or district wise? Is there any possibility?
Yeah, so like I said, the reason we have asked some of the initial questions is so that we have flexibility to analyze it in multiple ways. The main analysis will be done at a national level, but then we will also look at it from an industry level, from a regional. So regional, I think we're looking at from a provincial level. Is the way we have asked companies to identify themselves. So provincial level, national level, industry level, and then even by micro, small, medium, large industries, or even by whether it's by the maturity of the business, whether it's a startup or depending upfront, and that's why it's give that information also.
Okay, thank you very much.
Mr. Mohammed, I think it's clear to you. Lasanga's, the voice was not too clear. It is possible. What happens is we are going to the extent of looking nationally first, then regionally, even industry-wise, even within the industries also certain industries which is a large segment, we have named them also. Like for an example, printing and stationery, we have put it there, like printing, packaging and stationery. Now I am into that one. So I will select the manufacturing. So then I will go to the printing. So then you can understand so many manufacturers nationally. Out of that one, so many people involved in the printing industry. Like that, you can get classification on each sector.
Okay.
That is
Okay.
possible.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Any other questions? Rani, do you have any question? If we do not have any questions, I think, we can wind up the session. Almost, we are just only 1 minute away from our scheduled time. If anyone has some questions, we can answer that and wind up. I don't think, that we need to do water tanks and all that. If at all, if we have to, thank just Kuladeep and Sudarshana and people like that, and who have been, translating.
Give me a sec.
Yeah.
But my people, that Muladev and other people are coming to my phone personally. So they are asking many questions, but only the same regarding questions are there. So I asked them to, we have another chat forum. So I will explain them in later. It's no issue. But this is actually, before that, I need to thank them. Because first, they all are ready to come on 8 o'clock. So thereafter, we will change that.
We had this connection issue. Yes.
Only 4 people are missed. Another 4 people are participated. I think 14 people are already participated. Another 4 people are only missed, right? But unfortunately, the next forum we will include another people also. So first, I need thanks personally for them also, because yesterday evening and morning only I will inform them to participate. So their willingness is very awesome.
Yes.
Okay, please continue.
Okay, that's like, I mean, that's very important. That you have to get the support from your regional chamber members. For us, of course, you're the member. So like, I mean, your support is greatly appreciated in this whole survey. Survey can be successful depending on what you all do, what you will, how much you will get involved in this one, and get your members to participate. So depending if there is a bigger number, so we'll get more accurate data, more data into that particular segment like that. So we'll get it. So that is the success of the whole thing. I do not think Shirley is having a problem there. They have a power disconnection there, so she cannot come in to speak. I think Ruan is also not there. So I think if we have done, I think I should thank everyone. Lasanga especially, he have been participating with us in a couple of meetings like this. Probably he has to support in the future also for another few meetings. And if we have explained something for you in this 1.5 hours, I think that's the thing that we want to do on behalf of the Federation of Chambers, as well as for the other regional chambers to support their members also. So I thank everyone who took your time to come on board with us for this meeting, and wish you a good night. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lasanga.
Thank you,
Thank you, Lasanga. Thank you, Keith. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Keith.
Yeah, Ruan is there.
Our Ruan, we are not forgetting our Ruan service.
Yeah, Ruan. Ruan, where are you? You can.
Done an awesome job, superb.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, we are not forget. He's an outstanding person. I think again he proved it.
But Ruan can speak. I just tried to unmute him. Ruan, do you want to have a word?
Yeah.
Yeah, please.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, thank you, Kirti. Thank you for joining with us, and so sorry about the delay about these technical issues.
Yeah.
And thank you all, and we will have another meeting maybe next week or so, and we will have more discussions, and okay, we can share with you updates within maybe next week. Thank you so much. Thank you, Kirti.
Okay, thank you everyone, and good night.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kuldeepan. Thank you so much.
Yes,
Bye.
thank you.
Bye.
See you. Good night.
Bye.
See you
Good
all
night.
soon.
Good
Bye.
night. Bye.